Well, hello, folks. I got a good one for you today. I decided to start varying things up. So, yeah, what they don't want you to know. It's quite a grabby title. Who am I talking about? What am I talking about? Did I actually get your attention? Well, guess what? Here's what I'm talking about. Fiat currency is going to zero. Panic, pandemonium, burning, chaos. Cats and dogs, black is white, up is down. No! All doom and gloom. Alright, got that out of your system? Feeling a little better? Let's start. Calm blue ocean, tropical trees, tropical breeze. Say it with me. Calm blue ocean, tropical breeze, tropical trees. Probably just messed that up, but whatever. Now that you've taken a breath, you've calmed down just a little. Alright. So, what am I talking about? The biggest crime of the century. Wall Street, the Fed, the government not caring, the FCC being in a coma. Really, I've always kind of believed you're not really saying anything worth saying unless you piss someone off. So today, I'm going to see, will this get me banned? I am going to I'm such a little guy, hopefully they don't care what I say, but I am going to speak my mind on a few facts here. So, yeah, to break this down for you, every fiat currency, every single one, goes to zero. That's what they do. The whole idea of the fiat is that they're not sound backed. They can inflate and just inflate and just inflate. And that inflation is what drives them to zero. Now, this process, on average, takes 200 years. The U.S., the United States, switched from sound back to fiat currency around 1971, I think. I don't know. It's a little hard for me to pay attention to all things here. But as soon as that happened, yeah, it was on a doomsday clock, as it can be printed willy-nilly by the Fed whenever they want, with nothing to back it. So all of a sudden, there's more cash. Everyone has cash. Demand can go up. Supply doesn't go up. So price goes up. That's inflation. It's that simple. It's not transitory. Mr. Gordon Powell, I'm not going to say people's names to see if I can get around the algorithm, the president or chair of the Federal Reserve, it's not transitory, sir. You have totally sunk the ship. And then there was a guy named Volcker. The only way to actually get ahead of inflation like this, when it's steamrolling out of control, just like it did in 1929 and I believe 81 or 79, somewhere in there, 78. So the point of this is that they really gotta raise interest rates really, really high at the bank cartel, which is neither federal nor actually a reserve. They gotta hike those rates really hardcore to get ahead of inflation. If the inflation's at 8%, technically the rates gotta go to 9. And the CPI, when that comes out, okay, they always cook the books. They play fun with the numbers, because if you look at statistics a certain way, you can bend the numbers. To give you an idea here, the averages, median and mean, this is a way statistics can play with things. So, if I tell you that one person spends $1 on a good and another person spends $10 on a good, then every other person, let's say 8 other people, spend $8 on a good. This is some simple math here, okay? So we have 1 plus 10 is 11, and then 8 more at 8, that's 64, in case you don't know your multiplication table. So 11 plus 64, that's 75. Now, if you do the average one way, well, you had 10 people. You divide 75 by 10, that's 7.5 per person. I like to think that's a pretty accurate average system. But there's another way of looking at that. 1 to 5. The middle of the range. Wherever that lands, that's the average. Well, that's 5. That doesn't, to me, feel like that accurately represents things. But different cases to use different numbers. The cooks of the books know how to flip that around. So whenever you hear the inflation, tack on 5 or 10%. That's how bad it's kind of getting. Again with this doom and gloom. Tropical breeze, tropical trees. There's always a way out of every situation. You just must understand the situation first. So, what you have up on the screen here, what you've probably been wondering about, up here. So, this, I can't remember his name. I believe he's the vice president of the California Reserve. I could be wrong. Again, I'm Canadian. I shouldn't have to keep track of American politics for Americans. Tisk. Do your research. The Maverick of Wall Street, this guy is pretty on point from what I can tell. He's got a good eye for things. Following him might be an idea if you actually want to know what's going on in the market world around you, your 401k, other things like that. He seems to have an idea. So right here they talk about Dovish. So in case you don't know what the market, bulls, they believe in aping in, spending all the money, the assets are going to go up, go to the moon. So doves, yes, everything's grand, the economy's good, let's go, let's spend the money. Bears, oh, the market's going to crush, sell, push, short. So the bulls versus the bears, dovish and hawkish, everything. Like so, hawks and bears, doves and bulls. Getting an idea? This is how the market's divided. A lot of people think of the charts, or a lot of traders think of the charts, like a war between the bears and the bulls. So dovish means, oh, we don't need to raise interest rates. Inflation's transitory. Everything's going to be fine. It'll blow over. Just put your hand in the sand, head in the sand, like an ostrich. Yes, that's right. Present your butt up in the air, head in the ground, and don't mind when we sneak up behind you and just quickly get in there. And that's what they're doing to you. The biggest crime of the century was this mass inflation. So the idea of currency, in case you're not really aware, is it's supposed to be a measure of the value of your time. And that time is not supposed to get less valuable. Like, okay, as a person, I have to spend my days and hours fighting for my lifetime to earn $1 million. And then that should be enough to retire on. And then the Fed, in an instant, makes that $1 million. Not that time investment. They can go out and buy everything I did, and suddenly my money is half as valuable in this scenario. And now I can buy half as much. I just got robbed of all my time by that inflation. All that money and I got poorer. All that time got taken away because they can just make out of nowhere the marker that marks the value of the time that I put into the world that I'm supposed to be built to use to interact with the world, to get goods back, to reward me for the time I have participated in society. It's disgusting. So that's the crime of the century. And here, some of these guys are like zombies, and they're just like, oh, everything's fine, keep putting the money in. You jerk. How can you still be dovish? But this is the funny, the traders are so blind, the zombies, nobody pays attention, nobody uses critical thinking anymore. Nobody actually stops and takes a thought about what the impacts of A to B to C to D really are. To actually do their research. To compare articles of information, not just take somebody's word for it. Or, oh, Twitter said it. When I grew up, it was don't believe what you read on the internet. Double check all of your sources. Triple check all of your sources. There's something about integrity and actual fact checking. So this is not existent in the world, and it's kind of chaos, and this is where the market is inflated. There is a bubble, a giant bubble in the market. They've been kicking the can down the road since the 2008 housing crisis. That didn't fully market correct that bubble. And then it just reinflated it. More stimulus over the thing. Can't hit the algos too hard. I don't want to actually get banned. So, when we were all locked in our homes for 2 years. So the thing happened, and it was a great excuse to just prop up the market. But it wasn't just the inflation. They did something else really, really, really scary. They started buying up assets, mortgage-backed securities, and I'm not sure possibly CDOs, which are tranche opportunities or something now since the housing crisis. Same crap, still sold, different name. Didn't change a thing. This is continuing. It's just been monster-sized and grown. So, yeah, this week, one jerk who's still trying to say, oh, everything's fine, the house isn't on fire, nothing to see here, folks, left in the Fair Share Commission. The rest of the Fed is wising up to how bad they've screwed up and that they kind of have to catch up on it. Now, in here, I'm going to stop on some of these. Where do I want stop on these because he does do some good news points that I wanted to talk on. EV lunacy is dangerous. So yeah, here's the thing. Okay, EV is great. Moving forwards, environmental stability is great. Did you know mining lithium is one of the most dangerous environmental acts there is? It's harmful, very, very harmful, worse than oil itself. So lithium sparingly to reduce oil is a great plan. All lithium all the time? That could potentially be worse than oil. Also, did you know there's like not that much lithium? It's a very rare source, really. We just hardly use it for anything, so we didn't really notice. They require large, copious amounts of nickel and lithium for giant batteries in these cars, and everyone's supposed to move to them. Where are you going to get the lithium? Where are you going to get the nickel? It's produced, well, Canada's got a nice nickel mine, but, guess where that place? Do you know that place where over there they've got the vodka in the borscht? They might have also the oil, the fertilizer, and the lithium. Yes. But, nobody wants to pay them in the rubles. So, alright. We've got this chaos and crap going on where let's drive up prices while there's a middle of a sanction, force everyone to build EV, encourage the crap out of it, and harm the environment more because it looks good for polls. Because idiots aren't really paying attention to A, B, and C, and D, so a gimmick always gets votes. Isn't that great? Moving along. Can't catch a break. What's this one? Rail service. Union Pacific Lines will delay fertilizer shipments. So in case you guys weren't aware, the world food thing. Nations aren't really dependent for their own food anymore. Ukraine is the world's breadbasket. It's where we get most of the wheat. Everybody does. There isn't enough wheat grown in any other country to usually even support that country itself fully. Ukraine. Wow. It's a lot that comes from there and feeds the world. That's not happening. And then corn, China's buying that up because they're smart. Fertilizer's not getting out from the place, that has the sanctions. So if we're not getting the crap from there, and we can't grow our food, and we can't grow the wheat we're missing for bread, and we can't grow the corn we're going to need, there's already a starvation crisis forming worldwide. How long do you think till you really notice it in the G8 countries? Do 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 do. Yeah, I know I've gone hungry a few times over the winter. Also, because I'm such a proud Mexican, I couldn't even afford to make a steak. I made it past 120 days and didn't sell a coin, even when I was hungry. Yeah, I'm insane. So, covering that, I'm gonna keep moving along. Oh, here's a hit on NFTs. Why they can be such garbage. So an NFT, somebody took an image of a tweet, they called that art, and made a deed to that tweet for co-founder Jack Dorsey, his first tweet ever. Let's frame it and make it art and sell it. And some Yahoo decided to pay $29 million. Yeah, he did. That's cool. NFTs are a thing. What's this say? 29 million has lost almost all of its value. Oh, poor NFT. NFT is art. Kind of shaky. NFTs have utility, but that's not it. Moving along. All right. Oh, yeah. Well, he hasn't been very smart anyway. He's not responsible directly for inflation, but I'll say the useless sanctions that have toppled the markets very quickly have not been a very big winner for him. Better luck next time. Can you run from the senior zone? I don't know. Anyway. This one. I like this one. Yes. That's pretty much straight to the point. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, don't worry, Twitter. Just move on. There's a fire. Don't worry. I'm typing into Twitter. Yeah. Elon Musk. Really accomplishing things. All right. Now, at the time of heightened national securities. Yeah. Have you noticed how old most of the leaders are? Like ancient heads of Rome holding on to their seats of power when they don't even know what day of the week it is, or if they've taken their pills, or remember their pet's name. It's great for the nation, isn't it? All right. Oh, insane rallies in the market. There's always places, even in a market crash, to hide out and put your assets, like natural gas. I think Alcoa is up almost 98% for the year. Uh, Now, don't ape in. Don't ape in. There's things to consider. There's reasons, like if you had placed in and aped in back in when it was mentioned in December, might have been an idea if you'd been following Maverick Wall Street. So natural gas, with everything that's going on, that was kind of predicted. Like knowing that the whole situation over there with Ukraine was going to happen, kind of the markets almost spelled it out if you know how to read the tea leaves. So, oh yeah, free speech and then taking away democracy. Like, oh my god, that's so contradictory. I don't even want to get into that. Where are we here now? 2 explosions, good for them. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, Biden for more gas, buys more land. Yeah, what alternatives do Europeans have to Russian gas? Not a whole lot. Shipping it over from the States is insane. You think gas prices are bad now? They're going to keep going up through the year. This hasn't even fully morphed. So, I mean, this sounds scary. The markets are crashing. Inflation's driving assets up. The bank's not safe. The markets aren't safe. There's some spots in the market if you time them right, but now FOMO, you want to jump into natural gas now because you see this, well, so does everyone else. Now you're jumping in the middle of a pump, and the early guys are going to pull out. They're going to grab your money, and you're going to be in at a loss, and then you're going to leave. It's kind of how the FOMO works. Once you've probably noticed a trend, or once it's been pointed out like this because you haven't been paying attention, it's too late most of the time. There's usually a market correction coming. That would be a better time to grab than to buy now and have to ride through the market correction. Timing is everything. So yeah, I follow this guy a lot because he's got very good information on the actual market. Now, again, I have just hit you with all of this doom and gloom. Breathe, tropical trees, tropical breeze. Calm blue ocean. Okay. So why is this all okay? Like I said, there's always places to put your money in a bear market during a market correction. So brand new projects that have room for good valuations and steady low performers. While the tech stocks and speculations are high during a market pump, there's usually low performers too, which is what we've had. And those are the ones that switch out. Energy becomes a leader instead of a lagger. And yeah, so we've gone through that cycle. I don't know the market well enough to tell you where to go next. But this guy does. I know enough to comment and wake you up. There is shenanigans going on by your leaders who aren't paying attention, who don't care, all lining their own pockets at your expense. What can you do? You do have options. Now, a lot of people will go, moon math, it goes up. I even go, moon math, it goes up. But seriously, crypto, 90% of it is a scam, just like the stock market. All depends on who's selling you what. But now, something that's coming to market soon, something you'll be able to buy, something that is practical, has a valuation, and ties that valuation, the revenue, to its asset performance. Sounds kind of familiar. Guess I'm glad the FCC's still in a coma. Actually, no. They've been woken up. Do you guys want to hear this? Is funny. This is funny. The FCC regulates financial dealings. And it got so bad, if you watch The Wolf of Wall Street, that rich people mostly just had to pay a fine and maybe sign away their license to be in their career. Like, all right, I can't participate anymore. Here's a fine. Leave me alone. That's about their scary reach of power. And even that has been taken away. And now they have been commissioned to watch the environment. Yes, they're responsible for helping out with fixing the environmental issues in the world, correcting climate change. Yes, the Financial Regulatory Commission is now being directed to watch climate change. That is how much you're being robbed and being manipulated, is the government has retasked the financial cops to look at environmental statistics and temperatures so that they don't see all of the shenanigans going on. So since they're in a coma, nice surprise. we got something over here. It's called PulseChain and PulseX. So Ethereum took Bitcoin and made it a lot better. Made it practical, made it not a Ponzi scheme, made it a land, a programming environment, something you can use. Has a use case. It's not just a coming soon or maybe could be this or a whole future we hope. It's something. Now, still, they hoped world computer or money, but it didn't work out. But it has worked out to something, just not what they planned. It's something. PulseChain is going to copy it, and it's too expensive to participate in here for your average Joe. I mean, when transaction fees can jump from $60 to $27,000, depending on what you're doing and what time, it's not for your average Joe anymore. Gas fees were a fraction of a cent if you didn't even notice you were paying money to do your transactions like banking should be. Oh, that's what this is going to do. And it's going to run just like Ethereum. So programmers will know how to interface, it'll be easy to use. It's going to have all the functionality of Ethereum and the other programs added to it, like a stock exchange, an auction house, a whole bunch of elements of an economy, banks, all sorts of things running digitally that make this whole economy functional. Whew, that's exciting. All that's launching all at once. Ethereum launched bear. So this is coming to you for really cheap, really easy to use, so you can do your NFTs, figure out actually useful functions for them, play around with other crypto, and it's going to be deflationary. Unlike fiat, which is inflationary, this is going to get more scarce over time. It won't be robbing you of your value. I think that's pretty cool. And PulseX, well, that's like the stock exchange, New York Stock Exchange here. It's a decentralized exchange. It's all programmed. No middlemen. Nobody can be bribed. Nobody can be corrupted. Nobody can manipulate you. It's programming code. It doesn't need to skim your money. It doesn't have greed. It just does what it says. No need for lawyers. No need for jail or cops. It does what it says. No need for an FCC. It does what it says. You can look up the smart contract. It's mostly in plain English. Solidity is really easy to read. So, yeah, this is going to be the New York Stock Exchange. Just make it look a little more stock exchange. So stocks. I mean tokens. FCC, stay in Oklahoma. So some of these are scams, just like the stock market is full of scams. Some of these are not. And doing your research is going to be really important to get in here and play. But having a piece of Pulse and PulseX and Hex, which is like a savings or retirement plan, really. These things are written very well. Flawless code, no admin keys. Nobody can take them from you. Nobody can repossess it. Sure, it can be taxed. All income can be taxed. That's fine. But this can't be stolen from you. Can't be repossessed. Can't be confiscated. It's yours. You control it. You own it. It's your money. You sell it or you don't. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's an option where in a bear market, a market correction, because everything's been messed up, something's launching at a price floor. It's launching at its beginning price. It might dip a little below it, might get a discount, a deal to get her started. But after a couple months, maybe even just a couple weeks, maybe even just a couple days, boom, it's going up. You can look at the price asset history of any good crypto, a network that launches, any good crypto. So networks, Bitcoin, networks, and a few other projects have done really well. I want to see a website that's really cool to look into. Bam! Look into hex.com. Richard Hart's first project. ROIs from launch. This can give you an idea of what we can expect a little bit from PulseChain. What is all this noise? Let's get rid of crap. So Dovish, that's crap. Let's get rid of Shiba, that's crap. Now, we see that all these are following a similar function. We'll get rid of ADA, and we'll get rid of Matic, and we're starting to see a healthy asset growth. These are not just add, it's times. So it's a bell curve chart. So $1 on day one would be worth $10 in BTC right there, day 601. And $100, like, $1,000, yeah, that's how that chart works. If you put in $1 here, that's how rate of increase works. So if you'd had Bitcoin for 13 years, $1 would be worth that. Yeah, that's how much the rate of increase was. But we're not looking at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is kind of a spent horse at the top of the S curve. I don't think it has much of anywhere left to go, but it gives you an idea that good crypto should, in its lifetime, get 100,000 to a million X in its lifetime in 10 to 15 years. That's kind of a standard Bitcoin has set for the market. Now we can look at other assets. So Ethereum, we all know and we all love, and we can see what day it's on. It's now, in the lead in this idea. We can even remove it idea, but it gives us an idea of the future growth. So yeah, let's actually get rid of BNB. Or which ones do I want to get rid of next? Get rid of Hedar. We definitely don't need that. So Hex, ETH, BNB, and Solana. Let's get rid of Solana. That cleans it up a little easier to see. So yeah, basically, generally, this is 1,000 days is about 3 years. So before 3 years is up, a lot of these assets have cleared 100x to 1,000x easy when it's good crypto. What's the rate of gains usually for 3 years in the market for an asset? Well, you're lucky if it doubles. Maybe if it's an insane asset, it gets a 10x. So $1 to 10, not to 100, not to 1,000. Like, that's insanely fast for insanely good product. It's easy to market. It's easy to use. Has functionality. People want to come in. It gets the network effect, the McAfee's law. So okay, we can see that good crypto. So Hex has had 2 years. 2 years. I love this 2 thing. 42, number of everything. 2 years of runtime. Not hacked. Flawless. Never down. He's good at coding. He's good at making assets. And testnet is up and running. So I'm able to play around with this stuff before it's live. And it's about to go live. Probably sometime in May. You might be able to start asset buying and getting in. It'll be crazy. A lot of people will want in. FOMO, fear of missing out. But you'll have your chance. There'll be fiat on-ramps. There'll be bridges. There will be access. You can get in on a brand new network and maybe even a new way of thinking, because there's a whole community behind this of people that follow Richard Hart. Richard Hart has some spiritual values. He can come off pretty shallow. He can come off like a dick. But he's egotistical because he's the smartest guy in the room and nobody's ever listening. I kind of know the feeling once in a while. I kind of get how he gets like that. And the flashy, shallow stuff is to get attention from the people with money to spend. That's cool thinking. But he doesn't promote or waste money promoting. He's more about attraction rather than promotion. A good product will sell itself. And that's exactly what's been happening. So I don't hear about it in the news and the commercials. It's good, it'll sell itself. Wow. That's marketing. $0 spent on marketing. The rest of the community believes in it so much, they pulled up the marketing budget because, hey, I made millions on Hex. Not me personally, but in the community. Hey, I made millions on Hex. You know what'll be really great? Let's buy the broadside of a NASCAR. Just paint a Hex across it. Put Hex.com right across the entire NASCAR. Somebody can have the bumper. That's what they did. People have been buying. People are coming in. It's starting to grow. It's early in for this network. There's going to be a lot of action here, but it's a long-term asset appreciation tool. There are non-corrupt metrics like the government tries to provide with bonds and CDs and all this other crap. It's being re-provided digitally here in a much better standard and non-manipulated. You can get in early. I'm glad I found out about this. I hope you stayed all the way to the end of this rant to realize there's ways out. So in the traditional market, I can play the game for some small returns just to keep my assets of energy, natural gas, futures for lithium, wheat, corn. Or I can get into crypto and I can maybe get in on some real good gains during a market crash, because it seems like all that money disappears because market cap. Everyone plays pay attention to the market cap. Think of what's going on in the market, the liquidity pools, all how liquid an asset is when you hear that, all that trading. That's the projector. Market cap, that's the movie screen. It's the illusion of smoke and mirrors up there. What's actually happening is here. So just because the market crashes or the market lost so many trillions in value, well, that hurts all the debt lending. It's not without its chaos, but that money went somewhere, taken out of the projector, so it didn't show up on the screen. It's waiting to go into other places to inflate those assets. Places of good, places of excellent supreme use that will stand out in the middle of a bear market going, hey, you know what? This can't hurt us. We get knocked down, but we get up again because you're never going to keep us down. Like, you have to have something people need, something people want. In here, we've got freedom, expression, transaction, interaction. People want that. People can come and spend their money doing that. People will come to that, even when they're broke and poor in the middle of a recession. They will look for anywhere and anything that can save them, and something reliable in those markets will do that. So that's where natural gas is going to lead, and not the refineries or distributors, the producers. Like, there are all sorts of places that will lead, but most will suffer. So you just got to know which ones to pick. I'm pretty confident about my choices. So I'm glad you've stayed to the end of this video. If you're still here, I have my Telegram channel available, which is Top Gun Game Theory. And it's usually about crypto. But I do talk a little bit about traditional markets. And that should be about everything for the day that I have to talk on. That, yes, if you're not involved in crypto, it would be a great idea. Fiat currency is garbage. It's not going to crash tomorrow night. Don't make a bank run. But it's going to keep losing value and head towards zero nonstop over the next century. So, sooner is still better than later. Thanks for tuning in. And I hope you've had a really good Easter weekend. I hope I haven't stressed you out too much. And I hope you take away a little bit of hope from this, too. That there's always options. If you know where to look, you know to do your research. Just think a little bit.